Back in the day, Mike Tyson was a force that one would be wise to avoid. The majority of those who decided to go up against Iron Mike had their downfalls not long after. It was almost like going toe-to-toe with him in the ring was an experience, and not a good one at that. Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to take a look at instant karma before and after fighting Mike Tyson. Number 5. Trevor Berbick. One of Mike Tyson's best performances in the boxing ring by a long shot was his 28th fight against the world heavyweight champion at the time, Trevor Berbick, in 1986. Mike went on to win that match, becoming the youngest heavyweight champ the world had ever seen at the young age of 20. Trevor Berbick wasn't a joke by any means. Although people remember him for his fight with Mike Tyson, he was also the last guy to have a match with the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. In 2010, more than 2 decades after the fight, Mike told what was going on in his head during his fight with Berbick. Apparently, he had it in for him, due to the fact that he didn't show Ali, who was suffering from advanced Parkinson's disease at the time, any mercy. Mike wanted to inflict pain upon Berbick. He even admitted to wanting to kill him. Although he might not have been successful in doing that, Mike was still able to demolish him in their match. After losing the championship to Mike Tyson, Berbick changed. His fighting skills got sloppy. He started facing a ton of problems in his personal life and much more. Sadly for him, his life never got better. He also did some rather strange things as a Pentecostal preacher in Vegas, and also got into a street brawl with Larry Holmes.
An ambush? Ambush, that's what it was!
In 1992, he was found guilty of sexually assaulting his children's babysitter and was thrown in jail for 5 years, serving 15 months of his sentence. He was then deported from the US for the second time in 5 years, and that was only the beginning of his issues. Berbick found out he had a clot in his brain in the early 2000s, which made him let go of his boxing license. Well, at least that's what he said. It was more like taken from him. The man's life was so out of control that Mike's rocky life looked very mild in comparison. Tragically, his last 4 years of being alive, Berbick pretty much spiraled out of control before being found dead at a church graveyard in Jamaica in 2006. He had been bludgeoned with a steel pipe. According to police who showed up at the scene, Berbick's murder was one of the most violent ones they had seen, and that too in a lawless country like Jamaica. Number 4. Peter McNeely. Peter McNeely was one of those fighters who got totally demolished by Iron Mike. In their match, McNeely lasted no more than 89 seconds. He was the first person to face the bloodthirsty Mike Tyson after his release from prison. McNeely's boxing career took a nosedive after that fight. He showed up in some Pizza Hut commercials before hitting rock bottom. A year after I fought Mike Tyson, I was living in a crack house in Brockton, and I blew $40,000 in 6 weeks. McNeely told in an interview with Boxing Monthly. The former boxer was arrested for a few trivial crimes, one of which included sucker punching a man and stealing his wallet containing somewhere around $200. In another instance, he acted as the getaway driver of a petty robbery of a Walgreens store, in which him and one of his buddies stole $180 and some snacks before being caught by the cops. Fortunately for McNeely, he's doing better now. His website is still running to this day, through which you can buy memorabilia of him starting from a couple bucks to a couple $1,000. Number 3. Evander Holyfield. Mike Tyson's match with Evander Holyfield is arguably the most iconic match in boxing history. The defining moment of the match was when Mike literally bit a chunk off of Holyfield's ear in their second fight.
Oh, and some nasty stuff in there that lead to be a bite almost.
After beating Mike for the heavyweight title, Holyfield retained the title for 3 matches, before losing it to Lennox Lewis. In 2010, Holyfield's third marriage fell apart after his wife, Candy, filed for divorce and also requested a protective order against Holyfield, whom she accused of attacking her, after she complained that the mansion they both lived in was too cold. Not just that, Candy also claimed that her ex-husband was violent with her in front of the children on more than one occasion. In 2008, he choked me in front of our daughter and housekeeper. In 2009, he hit me in front of the children, and a couple weeks later, he threw a bottle of water at me, she wrote in her request for protection. To this day, Holyfield is living in the past, often thinking that he still has a chance of becoming the heavyweight champion of the world at the age of over 60. The reason he retired so late in his life was probably due to the fact that he had severe financial problems, which stemmed from him getting repeatedly sued by a bunch of different people. Not only that, Holyfield has 11 children. Yes, you heard that right, 11. Paying child support for them has also taken a toll on his bank account. The man made no less than $200 million from fighting alone, but currently he has only about $1 million left. Before we continue, make sure to like the video and hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying it. Also, press the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming content. Now let's get back to what we were talking about. Number 2. Frank Bruno. Frank Bruno, the all-British heavyweight, is the only fighter who got into the ring with Mike Tyson once before, and once after Mike's prison sentence. His fight with Mike after he was a free man was the last fight in his career, after it was discovered that his retina detached pretty badly during the fight. Bruno tried time and time again to get his boxing license back. This struggle went on for years for him. The boxer tried to make a comeback to the ring through a fight with Audrey Harrison, who was a feared opponent, being an Olympic gold medalist. The fight, however, never took place, as Bruno was arrested after he went out of control due to his mental issues. He would fall asleep in the boxing ring in his backyard, literally try to drive his car to Jamaica from the US, and have frequent violent outbursts. Bruno went on to get diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which he blamed on his time as a hardcore drug abuser, saying that the drug somehow warped his brain. Years later, in 2005, Bruno went on an after-dinner speaking tour with the man that ended his career, Mike Tyson. He is said to be in stable mental condition as of right now. In 2010, the former boxer joined Comfort Care Services, alongside a handful of other celebrities, in order to celebrate 25 years of positive outcomes when it comes to mental health. Bruno's passion for boxing is still burning to this day, as from what we've heard, he still trains regularly and is living a healthy life.
Which again was a half-decent punch. No, that was at the right hand again.
Number 1. Clifford Etienne. Clifford Etienne took the heavyweight division by storm. He became a professional in 1998 and was dubbed the most exciting fighter to watch in 2000. Etienne, also known as the Black Rhino, was seen as almost as big of a menace in the ring as Iron Mike. But when the two went face-to-face, Mike took the win. Etienne was the last guy Mike defeated in his entire career as a boxer. After his loss, Etienne found himself in a life of crime. He was arrested for armed robbery and sentenced to 40 whole years in prison. Etienne decided to get into prison boxing and became the state prison boxing champion. He served only 10 years out of his 40-year sentence due to good behavior. But sadly for him, his rough period of time was far from over. Although he got a second chance at life, Etienne decided to blow it. Upon being released, Etienne suffered from serious drug problems. He got caught attempting to murder 2 cops and was sentenced to 160 years in prison, without the possibility of parole after being slapped with attempted second-degree murder of 2 police officers, along with other charges like carjacking and kidnapping. The sentence was reduced to 105 years, not that it really matters anymore, due to what they, the authorities, called a technicality. According to Etienne's defense attorney, Etienne suffered from a whole lot of brain injuries from his time as a boxer. Not only that, he even argued that Etienne was high on cocaine during the instances in which he committed the crimes he was accused of. Therefore, he had no recollection of what he had done. From the looks of it, Etienne has accepted that his life is now prison, according to reports from inside the facility he's being held at. The former boxer has taken up painting as a hobby and is keen on making artwork. Not just that, he was also given a job as a barber, which he accepted wholeheartedly. With this, we come to the end of our video. Here was a look into the lives of all the boxers who apparently had their dose of karma after going up against Iron Mike Tyson.